Okay, I'm just going to talk about the process of conditioning, peaking for a sport, and in this case, with just a little bit of a bend or a lean towards boxing conditioning. So, in general, we have a triangle, and this is a fairly old periodization triangle, and we can split that into 1, 2, 3 phases. The first phase is the base, and in that base, we have flexibility, stability, boxing technique, like just single boxing punches, and then endurance training. So you want to have probably long, slow distance endurance training. Then we have the middle phase, through here, and we want to get to a bit more strength and conditioning, a little bit more specificity towards the sport or boxing. So amateur boxing match is around about 11 minutes long. So we'll sort of focus on that a little bit. So higher heart rate, boxing combinations, and also train on the weakness of the skill and weakness of the strength and conditioning. General and specific training. So you want to have a base level of strength and conditioning, and say deadlift, squat, bench press, and then we get specific and we add some rotation. Explosive rotation and coordination there. Then we move up into the peak. Now the peak is only as high as the base is wide. So a lot of people just start to focus in on a fight in sight for 12 weeks. So your peak can only ever be that long. If you train all year round and you have an off season, you can extend these two phases out a longer period of time, which means the peak can be higher, which means that you can hold the peak longer, say for over a 5-day amateur world competition. So in the peak, we want to work on our power. So that's speed and agility, power, speed and agility. Especially in boxing, you want to be fast and you want to dodge people so they don't hit you. You want to be fast so that you hit them and get points and then win. But you don't want to get hit. To boxing conditioning, so it's 3-minute round, 1 minute off. 3-minute round, 1 minute off in 3 minutes. That's you sort of really focus in on high intensity interval training, which is what that is. So let's come back to the base. We also use that recovery. The base is a recovery, so we have recovery during the week after a high intensity, say sparring session. So it's low intensity, it's larger volume. And we can also do a 12-minute Cooper's test, just because it's easy to do, and that becomes our baseline fitness test, in which we can repeat monthly or as we go forward. In our middle, so we have max and strength and conditioning, so we have max effort days, and we have a dynamic effort day, and a general physical preparation day. Now these have different effects. Max effort days, our first lift would be 1 to 3 reps RM, but we still try and move fast, even though it looks like we're going slow, because we are going slow. It's called strength speed, but we're still trying to get our fast twitch muscle fibers working. And if we're doing 1 repetition max, definitely all the muscle fibers and the nervous system's really fired up to do that. Now, as we piggyback on the second strength session of the week, we do 3 to 6. You see, it's just a little bit more reps, so the weight goes lower, but we can move fast. 3 to 6 reps, not 3 to 6 RM, but 3 to 6 reps, it's probably more like 60%, but we can use bands and chains or adaptive resistance to really get the explosive fibers working. And we're still trying to move fast or even move faster. And then what they do is, you do each of these a session a week, they piggyback the other to not only get stronger, but also faster. You have more power base. So then we want to convert that into, in boxing, build a knockout punch. It's like a 1 RM as fast as you can. We also want to think about the last 10 seconds of a boxing match when you have the clap, and then it's essentially fartlek training. If you ever put a heart rate monitor on someone doing sparring, you see their heart rate goes up and down, up and down, up and down, but mostly in the red, so really high heart rate. It's also HIIT training, and we can also do the 12-minute test that we did in our baseline, just to see how much we have improved our peak fitness. So the question, how long can I hold the peak? Answer 1, how long did it take to reach the peak? There's something called a principle of reversibility, and that's you lose it at the rate that you gained it. And then answer 2 is around about 14 days of non-specific training. So you've got cutting weight, and you've got the length of the competition, but in the length of competition your power would have gone down a lot unless you pumped it up with some training. I wouldn't recommend you do weight training during the World Champs, but if you've got a gap in between, like a week, then you probably want to get some in there just to top everything up again. So managing it. Then it would decline at the rate that you've got it. So that's a general idea of how to, the process of fitness training for boxing.